On March 15, 2023, a critical incident occurred at a national government agency based in the capital city. The agency was responsible for managing vital digital services for various government functions, aimed at streamlining public administration and enhancing citizen engagement with governmental services. Central to this effort was a cloud infrastructure managed by a major cloud service provider, which supported numerous interconnected applications and databases. In the weeks leading up to the incident, an overlooked misconfiguration on one of the agency's cloud servers went undetected. The specific issue arose from inadequate permission settings that allowed excessive access to sensitive services and data repositories. The server was intended to handle internal applications and services, but due to a failure to configure access controls correctly, it inadvertently exposed key endpoints to the public internet. This misconfiguration created a significant risk vector, enabling malicious actors to probe for vulnerabilities within the digital infrastructure. Within hours of the configuration error, early signs of exploitation began surfacing. A specialized team monitoring the agency's systems noted an unusual increase in incoming network traffic targeting specific services, which were supposed to be restricted. Despite the alarming indicators, the underlying misconfiguration failed to trigger any critical alerts due to gaps in the agency's monitoring frameworks, which relied heavily on predefined thresholds that did not account for this new access vector. As a result, the initial breach remained unnoticed. Over the subsequent days, small breaches became more pronounced. Reports indicated that unauthorized access attempts were detected on several internal accounts linked to key civic applications. A deeper analysis revealed that approximately 2,500 unique user accounts, including those belonging to agency employees and external contractors, had been exposed to potential compromise. Although the agency had strong password policies in place, the lapse in access control left these accounts vulnerable. Cybercriminals rapidly exploited this oversight, leading to unauthorized attempts to access sensitive data, including citizen records and financial information. The first measurable impact of the breach manifested on March the 20th, when approximately 17,000 citizen accounts were discovered to have been compromised. Users experienced disruptions in accessing government portals essential for services such as tax submissions, personal identification management, and Social Security inquiries. Initial estimates indicated that the agency sustained a financial impact of around $2 million due to service discontinuities and remedial actions taken to contain the breach. Internal reactions within the agency were immediate but chaotic. Initial emails circulated among departmental heads highlighted the confusion surrounding the incidents. Internal messaging threads discussed potential causes but failed to converge on a clear understanding of the misconfigured server's link to the compromised accounts. While some team members suggested that external threats could be the reason for the sudden increases in network traffic, others opined that it might be a technical malfunction within a third-party service integration. Lacking a centralized incident response plan, the agency's response was fragmented, resulting in several partial fixes that did not address the root cause of the issues. Externally, users began reporting access issues across various platforms. Monitoring alerts triggered additional notifications to agency staff, but with little context surrounding the ongoing incidents, responses remained limited and ineffective. Meanwhile, small news outlets made minor mentions of the disruptions encountered by citizens attempting to access the agency's online services, stirring public concern. These early media mentions prompted the agency's public relations team to prepare responses, yet they focused primarily on the operational aspects rather than addressing the underlying cybersecurity concerns. As days progressed, the situation escalated with alarming rapidity. The visibility of the breach grew as more users reported irregularities in their accounts, leading to calls for investigations by civil society organizations advocating for cybersecurity improvement within government agencies. Internal confusion led to attempts at creating ad hoc monitoring solutions, but these efforts were mired in the same misconfiguration issues that had initially allowed the breach to proliferate. On March the 25th, the agency's upper management convened an emergency meeting to address the severity of the incident, as well as the escalating public concern. Professionals across different departments expressed their frustration, pointing to the lack of centralized oversight and robust risk assessments that could have identified the misconfiguration earlier. As the agency struggled to comprehend the full extent of the unfolding crisis, major operational disruptions began impacting essential government services like public health initiatives, emergency response systems, and local government operations. The situation spiraled into an organizational crisis that had the potential to compromise national confidence in digital governance. While the agency began exploring technical solutions to contain the breach, a pervasive uncertainty hung in the air. With multiple vulnerabilities surfacing simultaneously, the interconnectedness of the agency's digital environment cast a long shadow over its attempts to resolve the incident. A week into the crisis, the growing number of reports indicated that cybersecurity oversight needed immediate restructuring to prevent such misconfigurations from recurring. As the agency faced these escalating challenges, investigative inquiries from external cybersecurity experts began to take shape, promising a deeper examination into the systemic weaknesses that had allowed those initial technical failures. The perfect storm of early misjudgments and lack of coherent strategies initiated a cascade of failures that would soon reveal the fragility of national digital infrastructure and the urgent need for a more resilient cybersecurity posture. As the investigation loomed, the first alarms of systemic vulnerability sounded louder, underscoring an impending reckoning for the agency tasked with safeguarding civic administration in an increasingly digital world. As awareness of the breach mounted, the agency's Information Technology Department initiated an urgent internal audit of all active digital assets, which unveiled multiple configurations similar to the one initially overlooked. This led to the discovery that third-party vendors also suffered from similar vulnerabilities. Internal logs indicated persistent attempts by intruders to access sensitive data, compounded by the agency's use of obsolete security protocols. On April 1st, an independent cybersecurity firm was contracted to conduct a thorough examination of the breach's scope. Their preliminary report indicated that over 500,000 user accounts had been compromised, including sensitive data pertaining to personal identification, financial records, and health information. The level of exposure prompted immediate action from the agency, leading to an increased call for intervention from higher government authorities. In response to mounting pressure, the agency engaged with federal law enforcement agencies beginning on April 5th, setting the stage for an extensive coordinated investigation into the breaches. By April 10th, emergency account bans were temporarily enacted as a reactive measure to limit further exposure while the audit was underway. Affected users were notified of the breach via a public alert, though many claimed they first learned of the incident through news reports. The media frenzy escalated throughout mid-April, with investigative journalists uncovering deeper systemic failures within the agency. inner chat logs leaked to the press revealed that multiple warnings regarding the infrastructure's vulnerabilities had been previously issued, but remained unaddressed. Reports surfaced indicating that certain agency personnel had attempted to raise concerns about cybersecurity policy improvements, which had been systematically ignored. These revelations intensified public scrutiny, leading to widespread calls for accountability. On April 15th, the agency publicly acknowledged the breach's scale, revealing that estimated financial losses specifically related to this incident rose to around $5 million. This figure included remediation costs, compensatory mechanisms for affected citizens, and overtime labor for the incident response teams. The agency also launched a dedicated hotline to assist users who believed their data may have been compromised. As the agency continued its response, internal leadership faced increasing pressure from advocacy groups demanding not only transparency, but also significant policy changes. By late April, the organization began discussions on mandatory audits and stricter cybersecurity requirements for all digital services, working towards legislation that would compel all government agencies to adopt a more robust security framework. By May 1st, hearings were initiated by the relevant Governmental Oversight Committee. During these sessions, key figures in the agency were questioned about their failure to respond adequately to early warnings and their reliance on outdated technology. Testimonies underscored a disparity between the agency's technological capabilities and the evolving nature of cyber threats, suggesting long-term infrastructural vulnerabilities. In the weeks that followed, the situation compelled the agency to undergo a complete forensic analysis of its entire digital ecosystem. By June 1st, a second audit released by the independent cybersecurity firm identified critical flaws in the agency's vendor management protocols, revealing vendor applications that were never fully vetted before integration into the agency's operational framework. As scrutiny intensified, the agency announced an infrastructure migration plan designed to transition to cloud solutions provided by a more reputable vendor, ensuring that modern security practices were incorporated. By July, 2 senior officials were removed from their positions, and at least 4 others faced disciplinary action as part of a broader restructuring initiative aimed at reestablishing credibility and trust. Following the public hearings, legislation mandating enhanced cybersecurity compliance across all federal agencies was drafted, garnering bipartisan support. As the months passed, operational impacts persisted, with residual distrust in the agency becoming evident. The agency experienced significant drops in user engagement, leading to a decline in revenue generated from digital services by approximately 30% by August. Further complications arose, with legal claims from affected individuals beginning to unfold, setting the stage for anticipated class action lawsuits. On August 30th, the agency reached an agreement with plaintiffs, settling for $3 million to cover losses incurred due to the breach. This settlement also mandated ongoing audits of their cybersecurity practices over the following 2 years, involving third-party oversight. By late September 2023, an internal report concluded that while immediate threats had been contained, the cumulative effects of the breach would have lasting implications for public trust in government digital interactions. The call for a complete overhaul of digital governance went unheeded for too long, leading to significant infrastructural changes that reshaped the agency's operational strategies moving forward. As of October 2023, the agency continues to implement major security reforms, undergoing an extensive audit of all connections and vendor responsibilities, ensuring these lapses do not recur. While the agency has stabilized operations, the scars of the incident remain, marked by heightened regulatory scrutiny and an ongoing commitment to addressing the vulnerabilities that led to the catastrophic breach. The final status indicates a precarious rebuilding phase, with a long road ahead to restoring institutional confidence in the integrity of national digital infrastructure.